It's very good to be here. I think I have to say thank you to the Faisalabad University and the World Poultry Science Association for the invitation, and also to allow such and Ghazi brothers for bringing me here, and to allow such a title that sounds strange, right? So, but before I talk about the title, I have to emphasize that I'm FDVM, and FDVM stands for Field Veterinarian. So, a couple of years ago, I was working on this side. I am happy that you have this mixed of university, of science, you know, and publicly, everything in the same room. And I really enjoy the speech that I received, because once you have more people on board, and my wife is a vet as well, so I see new people on board, new thinking, and I can tell you women think different than men, different perspective. I'm very happy to see this, that is fostering the poultry health. And then we have the discussion. I classify my lecture as a brainstorming. So we go for discuss why it's so difficult to control disease in layers. Why we have such problems. So every place you go, when it starts outbreaks, usually we go US. I'm happy that I have people that have experience in US as well, starting layers. Starting out, most of the outbreaks in Indonesia for AI, for example, starting layers. So we're going to address apparently we are improving biosecurity, but why diseases are still popping up? If you compare the 10 years ago from now, we are improving, but we have new diseases. So why we don't share information? We have different boxes. This is nutrition. This is immune system. This is respiratory. This is enteric. It's never worked like this. How to strengthen the poultry health? So I'm very focused on immune system. So first we build a very good, strong immune system, and then go for a conclusion. So I have this, apparently we are improving biosecurity. So many places you go, so we are investing a lot. Isolation, so on and so forth. Why the hell is happening this disease? We are trying to improve, put a lot of money. I come from a company in Brazil that slaughter per day 1.5 million birds per day, only one unit. So it's a lot. So before this, let's see this one. This is a poultry disease diagnosed from one big Southeast Asia key account. And I'm happy that they have an old-fashioned person inside that they take care for a long time from the company, and since the 90s to 2015. What happened there? So when you check by chicken anemia, IBH, astrovirus, retrovirus, IBV, and low pathogenic avian influenza, it's increasing. He said, how can I justify to the company that it's increasing disease, even though I'm trying my best to reduce this? So for all of this, you see the tendency is going up. Why? When you have this kind of outbreak, you should step back and say, what is the final diagnosis? Why did this happen? So yesterday we gave a talk discussing about outbreaks in vaccinated flocks. What went wrong? What happened? But when you go to companies, there is a hot potato. It's not my fault. It's nutrition. It's this. And the birds stay in between of this one. It's always a big problem. The problem is that we think the chicken is like this. How we think? In boxes. So this is genetic. This is nutrition, husbandry, poultry health. But at the end of the day, you'll be like a machine. One depends on each other. And it's hard to see that sometimes a feed mill not talking with the broilers, and broilers are not talking with breeders, and ultimately have a big problem. And also layers don't have information about the feed mill. So that's what I call no man's land. What link each other, that's no man's land. So don't go to the farm and say, what you are using to mycotoxin binder? We don't know. So we have a lesion here. So this is an immunosuppression disease. We really don't know what happened. So because they are not talking, we have to consider also the chicken are changing. We have some good news. What to expect to 2050 following this geneticist? Wow, 4 layers. Wow, 100 weeks, 550 eggs, feed conversion of 1. It's a huge machine to produce eggs. You see what happened with broilers? 19 days, 2.2 kilos, feed conversion of 1, just like fish. So when I started working, the feed conversion was 2.1. And then when I achieved the 5 years ago, 1.4 for broilers, I said, wow, how come? So we cannot imagine. But the bad news is the more we improve the resistance, the more we improve the performance, the resistance goes down. Okay? All diseases are back. Salmonella gallinarum goes back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. Comes to the new generation to learn the disease. No, also because the chicken is suffering. I work to AW group, and inside the AW group we have many genetics, right? Every time we have a meeting, we discuss, okay, let's set up a resistance, but the production will not be good. So you choose what you want to lose. You want more resistant chicken or the laying more eggs? You have to choose. Do you answer for the industry? I want both. But sometimes you cannot have both ways. So this paper was published a long time ago, showing that I can send you a lot of similar to this one. The more you have performance, the lower will be the antibody response. I saw that you have a lecture related to titers controlling here. You see that in the past, you give ND, kill vaccine, HI goes up, easily achieving 7. Now you have to give 1 shot, 2 shots to achieve the same one. Another point is that the virus and bacteria are changing. So you have the chicken changing, you have also the virus and bacteria is mutating. The best example, this was published by Dr. Witter, one of the father of Manek. So nobody studied more Manek than he, than Joseph Manek as well, for sure. But he showed that every roughly 20 years or 15 years, the virus is changing. So what's going to happen? You see 2020, and also happened here in Pakistan. Since 2018, you start seeing more Manek outbreaks, also related to REV. So is the virus getting stronger? Is what we are sampling to understand. So you saw a couple of outbreaks, and we have to sample to see, is this virus more pathogenic than 5 years ago? So we are planning to send to North Carolina University, maybe to challenge. I would like to do it here. So reinforce the university. We have isolated, whatever, we do here, on site. We have the result. Because for some reason, Pakistan is a hub for many diseases. So if you study adenovirus, you cannot talk about adenovirus if you not talk about Pakistan when it just started. The same for IB. I'm happy you have researchers here who start working with IB in Georgia University. And this is a phylogenetic tree, was published in 2016 by Thai University. And it showed that if you go to count, you see that roughly 60% of the virus that we found there in many different countries belongs to Q1 or QX-like. So maybe 10 years ago, you'll be 793B or Connecticut or some other IBs, but they are changing. And we did a survey in Vietnam, Nepal, Bangladesh, Philippines, where we need to have here as well. But you see the neighbors, we did a lot of surveys, and we saw that some disease related to IB, to early infections, so they affect the kidneys, and ultimately, since the IB virus like to replicate in ciliate cells, they go to oviduct, and they have an early infection the first 2 weeks of age, and at the 30 weeks, egg drop and cystic oviduct. This is related to 2 weeks early 2 weeks contamination. You can solve it easily, but everybody, they see the case over there. They want to solve it. Okay, maybe it's a laying period, but this is, you have to trace back and see the growing. Again, if we go here to close to Nepal and Bangladesh, you see that it's kind of cystic oviduct, and also you start seeing lesions similar to this one. And for laying side, you see the classical me-shaped eggs and water albumin, but some water albumin start having together highly pathogenic E. coli, APEC, with 5 up to 9 genes pathogenicity. Where does it happen? When you use a lot of pressure with antibiotics. So, and you open here, this one, you see that there is some cast inside. And this one we found is a very highly pathogenic APEC. So I'm happy that you see here people promoting stop using that much antibiotic and using wisely. If it is a virus, why not give antibiotic? But people like to use it, otherwise they're not classified as a good vet. So I'm leaving the farm, not give anything, maybe they'll not be happy. What we found this classification, we did in 2018, 2019. So most of the viruses are Q1 type. So this is the most of the viruses we found here, Q1 type. And the Taiwanese, so all this belongs to Q1, which is close to QX in this phylogenetic, but it's far away from 491. So I'm using the new classification so far. Another point why we're not talking to each other, why we have a problem for biosecurity. So once we're gonna launch, we're gonna establish a new farm. Don't talk only with engineer. You have to talk also with veterinarians. You have to talk also with someone who understands epidemiology. But we do the back. So first of all, farm location. I have to say that the birds cannot read. So immigration bird cannot read. And doesn't matter how tough you are in your science, you not hold the virus and bacteria. So because virus and bacteria never respect fences. So we are Andrea and myself, we are visiting, giving assistance to 12 countries, Southeast Asia, including the bubble of New Zealand. No disease, not have IBD. But what we see that a different mindset, because people put their farm here, they fence, and another one put a farm close. Say, no, it's a different farm. No, it's not a different, it's the same bubble. You might have the same disease there. You have to talk each other. And you show you, some of them have layers in broilers and turkeys in the same place. And the guy can, why I have MPV? Yes, you have turkey. Study. So you have turkey there, they're passing to your layers. So every time you have this condition, you see, so you might have clinical signs. So if you give a IB vaccination here, and I have a different one here, after day you'll see here, and laying period, for example, the virus will spread. And the vaccine virus, you cause the damage. Sorry? Okay. Right. So if you have this condition, you cannot succeed. And for example, for a vaccination program for a live vaccine, you have to do it by campaign. You cannot have side by side one vaccinated against IB, another not vaccinated. They jump. In this situation, you work with vaccine and say, don't vaccinate, because you'll be worse. So when you fly to places close like this one, you have here broilers, you have here layers, and consistently they have respiratory problem, which they don't know what it is. Is it MG? Yes, maybe. Give antibiotic? Maybe. Is it IB? Yeah, maybe. They don't know. Most of the problem are also caused by the vaccines. Again, use the vaccine wisely. If they jump from one side to another, it's not. Let's fly to Philippines. Again, here there's this huge MG outbreak, here broilers, here layers, and they want to control. So how come you can separate this? You just cannot control disease. So most of the problems in layers is because you put the kids and the old in the same site. It's like a hospital. Pediatric, geriatric, they are separate. I like to use these magical city data when they have a huge contamination with KPC, the bacteria. So killing a lot of children, not chicken. A lot of problem. What they decide? Separate adults, kids. That's what they did. So they dedicated area to adults and here the kids. What they saw? Very significant reduction in the bacteria infection, also related to septicemia, whatever. So don't put the chicken, the new one, the same place. And when you fly to Vietnam, you see this growing and layering period, layering the same side. No, they are separate. You see, they are separate. This one. How come to control disease? And they'll come to you. Yes, I want to use one more shot. No, you're not solved. You're not solved the problem. It's not one more shot. You have to use it wisely. Put it far away or separate people. In this case, I can consider that as a mission impossible to control. So you cannot control disease in this way. I have a very good case from Taiwan. So they have a laying period and a rearing the same side. And you see here for many different, for respiratory, enteric, and moose disease. This is before, and then we recommend to separate. So put in different area. You see the reduction of a disease, and also the amount of cost of antibiotics. Only separating. Only separating. So you cannot have a good biosecurity system for layers. You have the same side. So again, understand that most of outbreaks are close to the roads. So when you go to, so when I said the chicken to get rid of, so and then when they load the chickens in the trucks or in this case in the motorbikes and they pass in front of your farm, feather means mare. Feather is like mare. Feathers come to your farm. Another point that we considered, so in these 20 years of experience that we have, over-trusting disinfectant. In Asia, we have a very magic formula. There is this magic disinfection tunnel. People come from one side contaminated, and they cross this tunnel, and they are SPF, the other side. This is just doesn't work. So you are here in university, go to study disinfection, and you see that they need a time for acting. And when you go there, you see there is a timing. I remember when I have a MG outbreak in a breeder farm, I have to lay off, fire 77 people. We trace back one guy with MG in the nose. They have a backyard chickens. In the nose. When you go to this magic tunnels, you do like, yes. There is another one. Okay, Andrea, I have to put you here. It's a magic spray system. SPF now. now I'm free. And then here they are disinfecting Andrea in process of SPFification. And what we are washing this? You're washing your brain, your consciousness, your awareness. Now I'm feeling better. And guys, you'll be happy that you buy more disinfectant, right? Use it wisely. So the way Thailand control AI, if you don't, I think in some parts they still have some, right? Okay? But for some farms, this is a farm, they have to use a swimming pool full of disinfectant, they have to really jump. And Marcelo knows that we used to receive Americans in Brazil for a long time and say, here you have to take shower. Oh, it's a broiler, it's a 1 million broiler. Okay. 5 minutes?
More.
Only?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Let's speed up. So in simple rules, for example, you have to wear disposable boots. This, remember, 85% disease goes in the boots. 85% goes in your shoes. Wear these. Another point you should use them. Water chlorination. People are afraid to use a chlorination. Most of them. I'm telling you, it's very safe. Up to 40 ppm. It's not myself. A lot of paper showing. When it starts at close to 100 ppm, the performance will start going down. It's very safe. If people are afraid. Why I like chlorination? Because they evaporate here and clean up the trachea. Very cheap and efficient. Try on. You have a farm, 3 chicken house, put one at least 5 ppm available. 5 ppm. It's 10, no problem. Even better. You see coryza going down. Most of coryza. So overtrust in vaccines. So this is Newcastle disease. Newcastle disease has more than 90 years. It's still a big issue. So what we see, so before genotype 7, now we have genotype 13, following the Bangladeshi publication. Vector is a single solution. People step back. If you have high challenging as only vector, so you have to go, I'm old-fashioned, you have to go to old-fashioned style for live plus kill. That's the reason why the new vectors come and say, okay, give a live as well. If you're alive as well, sometimes you have to give a kill. So vaccines like this trial was done in Indonesia. So the same vaccination program, low challenge, 5.3% mortality. But let's go for high challenge, 25%. So it's easy to tell that the vector works in New Zealand and Brazil. But if when you come to high challenge, it's different. Another point you have to consider, this is one big integrator, the biggest one in Southeast Asia. They control by HI. So you see the goes down, oh, another shot, another shot, another shot. So they control HI for NDAI. This is not a guarantee they'll be protected, but they are controlling, so somehow. So you have to do a homework, management, vaccination, because if you reduce the challenge and they improve the resistance, so they have a healthy birds. So why we don't share information? Feed meal. We see very often this condition, hot potato. When you go for a feed meal, and I can tell you, my wife is a vet, she worked for feed meal, and I was working the field. So a lot of our problems that happened there, say, don't tell anyone. But you see, we just received a feed with a lot of aflatoxin. So 5 days later, that's your mycotoxin. So a lot of other problems, we don't have time, only 5 minutes. So mycotoxin is the main one. Mycotoxin is the seed to believe in. Nobody believes it. Like a ghost. I never saw this mycotoxin, but it causes huge damage. Most of the damage is related to immunosuppression. You can see here for titration, for IBD, ND, 0 ppm up to 400 ppb, you see lower titers. Ask yourself, if you have a low titer, I give you the vaccine. Oh, your vaccine is not producing titer. No. How is the mycotoxin controlling? Huh? Michael what? Mycotoxin? So you see mycotoxin egg drop production. So here this 4 weeks with, and here without mycotoxin, you see in egg production is totally different, as published. So once they take the mycotoxin out, improve a lot. So mycotoxin also can cause egg drop. You see this condition. Also, sometimes it's done easy. So some places they have a layer, they put also water in the feed in order to increase the feed consumption. And it's a backfire. You increase even more the mycotoxin. And you have this mycotoxin that nobody is looking for, ochratoxin. When you see kidneys like this, orange like this, or more pale, sample, send to histopathology. Check it out. So if you talk is like this, are you using mycotoxin by this? Yes. Which one? I don't know. Do you use? Do you know the dose? Yes. Maybe 500 per ton. For how long? Yes. I don't know. So they don't know. They don't talk each other. So how to strength? You have to go to strength the immune system. Among the immune systems, remember the aflatoxin is the main one to cause problem. IBD, chikungunya, malaria, and adenovirus, all these are the immunosuppression agents. I like these papers very much. You show that this is IB alone have a 70% mortality. But if you challenge it previously with IBD, you see the mortality. ND the same, LT the same. So it was a long time ago, but it showed that if you have immunosuppression disease, your response will be worse, and also your case will be worse. So your outbreak will be even worse. So we publish a paper now in Bangkok showing in cases in Vietnam which they have involvement of chikungunya or Marek or RV, for example, in brothers and layers. So for 136 cases, IB positive or outbreaks, we found that 91% were positive to one of these one, or chikungunya or IBD. For layers, what we found out, we have a Mareks or RV or the association of both, which counts as 65%, so they have immunosuppression. It means that birds that are immunosuppressed, they are more prone to have IBV, outbreak. Also, we have to talk with nutrition. You see that I'm not a nutritionist, but I have to talk them. Remember, we have a thing called antibodies. These antibodies have a high demand for amino acids. So threonine, lysine will be the main one. So you have to talk each other. Once you have a deficiency in these amino acids, you are more prone to have a problem. Choosing the right vaccination method. So most of IB and ND are related to wrong vaccination process. Like this lady, so she's sure that they gave the vaccine, but it's not well delivered. What we are trying to do with a live vaccine, protect locally. IB vaccination locally. That's what we want for protection. So you see in US, some places they give you flu vaccination by spray. Working better, some places. So you want to protect and block the virus to go in. So what we want to block the virus to not stop the ciliate cells so that you don't have clinical signs. Timing for vaccination. So you have to use the vaccine as early as impossible. It means first day of age. These I don't negotiate. The IB vaccination has to start since the first day. Otherwise, have a replication. And people like, I give him by eye drop. What do you think about this eye drop? Is it correct or wrong? Why is wrong? Huh? They are not waiting for absorption. How many times did it happen in your farm? Friday afternoon. I'm crazy to go home. Many times. Many times. So most of the eye drop vaccination, I applied wrongly. If you can apply in the hatchery the spray vaccination, you'll be the best condition. It'll be the condition that you should customize. I don't negotiate minimum 15 ml per box in the hatchery. If you cannot go for the hatchery, I just skip this. You can go to the field. Can be the old-fashioned or electric one. Works. I'm sure that you have device here in some places that they sell agricultural stuff. You can find one. You don't need to wait for the perfect one. Start. And for laying period as well, I'm happy to see that one company was producing cages with the spray for every 2 cages. Able to vaccinate against IB, container, and spray early morning. They start spraying. There is no problem, so we can work on this. And this one I just skip, and you have to customize the vaccination. So here's the homology, here's the protection. So the higher the homology, the more prone you have to have a higher protection. You have to cross many paper published. So if you have a 7F3B challenge, for another one will work better. But if you have a Q1 challenge, You work better. Customize what you have. You have to know what you have inside. In conclusion, okay, 2 seconds. Commercial layers are getting more and more sensitive. So this is a guys there who improve the genetics, they not change. Okay. Be aware we have new diseases. Astrovirus was not a problem 10 years ago. It's a problem now. Adenovirus is getting worse and worse. You have chikungunya now in layers as well. Yeah, right, doctor? Yeah. I'm happy to see your paper. So, what happened? Bacteria are getting stronger. Biosecurity, so back to the basis. Before anything, build up a strong immune system and improve communication gaps. Talk each other. So it's not because you're a field veterinarian, you cannot go to the feed mill and talk. Okay, I'd like to thank you for the World Poultry Science Association in Pakistan. So I'm very happy to be here. Faisalabad University and Ghazi Brothers for allowing me to come here. Thank you. Okay, again.